Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Kenny Lammons with Medicare Millennials, where we help train and recruit agents on how to sell Medicare year round and to begin their journey to building a large, successful Medicare book of business. And as you guys know, I spend a lot of my time focusing on the front end of the business. So that first 3, 6, 12 months that you're in the business, because I just believe that is where the vast majority of people that have the ability or the want to get into this industry, that's just where they get caught up. So I try to be really transparent and help put a lot of content out on how to get started. And so today, just right along those lines, I want to talk about how Medicare sales, very similar to final expense sales, are almost always a one call close. Okay, so what does that mean? A one call close is a sale where, whether it's your very first time getting the prospect onto the phone if you're doing telesales, or alternatively, the very first time that you walk into a prospect's home or meet with them face to face, we intend to close the deal right then and there. Okay, there are some exceptions I'll cover momentarily, but this is so critically important. I'll give you a few reasons why it's important to have the mindset, know what a one call close is, know that in most circumstances this should be a one call close, and get in the mindset and have the framework of knowing, hey, if I've got 5 appointments today, I anticipate closing, let's just say they're all single households, 5 deals today, not tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So let me break that down a little bit for you. This is super important for new agents to understand. A couple of exceptions with Medicare, and there's more, but these were just the two that will come up more frequently, is if somebody's turning 65, but it's more greater than 3 months away. Okay, they don't have a Medicare number, they don't have a Medicare card, they're not going to leave their job for another 6 months, they don't turn 65 for another 7 months. Well, duh, you might visit with somebody in that situation, really set the tone. You may even have unofficially closed the deal, but you're going to have to go back and visit that person again or get them back on the phone before a deal is closed. Okay, that's kind of obvious. And then the other reason, especially in the Medicare Advantage world, is if somebody doesn't have a current SEP. So if we're not in the middle of the annual election period, right, when pretty much everybody can make a change, for outside of that period, we need to have a special reason for them to be able to make that change. And most times, if you follow my channel or you work with our organization, you want to work with the Medicare Millennials, we're going to teach you how to usually have that special election. That's why we're able to sell year round, but sometimes you can't. And so that won't be a one call close. But again, we're going to build a great relationship. We're really going to set up everything other than closing the deal. So whenever we are scheduled to get back with them, it'll be a done deal. Okay, so those are a couple of the big exceptions that you'll run into. So let me give you 3 reasons why in this industry, particularly, it's so important to understand that these are one call closes and really make every sale that you can a one call close. The first and foremost is that, unlike life insurance or annuities or real estate deals for that matter, Medicare sales are not a big ticket item. It's not a big commission item. All of the money in this business is about developing a book of business that you nurture and keep around for many years. That's really where the payoff is. And so, because of that, if somebody's really not interested in speaking with you, oh, can you come back by next week when you're around? I want to talk to so and so about it. I want to do my research and then just call me back. We don't have time for those tire kickers because, unfortunately, we just don't make enough money and especially when we're new, we need to make the very most out of the investment we've been making in leads. The upfront commission just isn't enough to chase people around and to try to have some long nurturing sales process. If you're not, listen, you don't have to be an arm twister to sell Medicare. Quite the contrary. It's a pretty sell itself deal once you're educated on how to do it. But if you are worried about being assertive enough to make sure it's a one call close, that's the exact kind of thing that me and Ethan and our organization help train you on, so that you're able to close on the first day and not come off as a jerk or be too timid and unable to close that deal. Another reason is that, unlike many other products, a Medicare plan, be it a Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage, or even a prescription drug plan, none of these are really discretionary buys, okay? A final expense policy is very important, but it is discretionary. You know, they can just say, screw it, I'll leave the burden on on whoever is behind me. I'm not going to worry about it. Or no, you know, I'm just not adding an additional dollar to my monthly bills or whatever the reason is. And now, technically, a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan is discretionary in a way because you're not obligated or required to carry one of those plans. But for all intents and purposes, for the vast majority of seniors, it's not a discretionary buy. They're looking for the best plan that fits their needs at the best price with the most benefits. And if you can deliver that and you've built trust, they're going with it, okay? So you have to remember when you walk into these houses, you're not a salesman so much as an educator. And I know that's so cheesy, but in Medicare, it really stands even more true than a lot of types of sales. Because really, they just want to get some clarity and understanding on how Medicare plans work, and then some guidance on, hey, which one of these, I know I'm going to pick one, makes the most sense for me. And since we do that, it's not very discretionary. One call close. The final reason is just that even if you're selling Medicare Advantage, there is no underwriting, okay? As long as there's some valid election period for them to make the change and they desire to be on that plan, it's a done deal. You can go put the application through and it's going to go through, barring some tiny exception that very rarely happens. It's going to go through. There's no underwriting to wait around on. No, let me take the paperwork. I'll start underwriting. I'll come visit you. I'll call you later. No. We're going to, right now, today, we can close this deal. Even if you are selling Medicare supplements as well, which you should have some mix regardless, underwriting is almost always instant decision and very simplified with Medicare supplements. If you're still working with some archaic carriers that can't get you a decision for 2 to 3 weeks, you probably need to talk to me. I'll tell you about some carriers that right then in the house, sometimes without even a phone call, you can get a decision on somebody for their Medicare supplement, and that's a one-call close. Let me wrap this up by saying, when I call this a one-call close, I do not necessarily mean that you're never going to go visit them again. Quite the contrary. Obviously, we want to nurture our book of business. We want to generate referrals. We want long-term relationships with our clients. We want to cross-sell when possible. So we want to get back in front of them. But what we're not going to do is chase around tire kickers. We're not going to be too timid to be confident and assertive in our recommendations, because you're just going to fail out early on. You just don't have the income. You don't have the leeway by the time you buy leads and other expenses to be fiddling around with that kind of thing. So please take my word for it. This is a one-call close business, no doubt about it. Anybody that's still stuck around for this video, just a little preview. Ethan and I, we spend a lot of time on phase 1 of the insurance business. It's super critical. That's what we know that most people are really needing right now. But we also like to talk about phase 2. So if you're in the Medicare business, phase 2 is like, okay, I found a lead source. I learned about Medicare. I got out there and sold 100, 200, 300 policies. Now what? How come some of my more than I thought of my business has fallen off the books? Am I really getting the amount of referrals that I heard I should be getting once I hit into the hundreds number of well, right, that's phase 2 type stuff. What other type of leads, now that I've got more money, might be a little bit more efficient for my current situation, right? What are the next steps? So Ethan and I are going to do an interview, just really going over everything about retention and what to do after you get your first couple hundred or few hundred clients. Follow us on Instagram, Medicare Millennials. We just do a lot of short, quick tips on there, and I hope to hear from you guys. Have a great day.